Okay, let's get this tutorial started. Today I will be making an oval candy sprinkle ring using this mold. And I have this one that I've already poured some resin in right here. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of the candy sprinkles along here to make it look like it's settling at the bottom. So I'll be using the Castin Craft resin and the Castin Craft, okay, let's see if you can see that, catalyst. This one I think is like $4.99 for the catalyst, and I think this was about $17 for 16 ounces. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get the top off. So I'm going to use this cup, popsicle stick to stir it. So I'm going to pour about a couple of ounces. I've done this a lot, so if you're doing it for the first time, make sure you put something down on your surface, like maybe some newspaper or plastic. Open the catalyst. Can you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Whoops. About 20 drops. And you have to stir this for about a minute. Also, when you're doing this, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. I have a lot of windows open right now. This particular resin is really loud. Sometimes I put on a mask. But make sure that you have fresh air flowing when you're doing this. Looks like I'm going to have a little bit more, so I'll just use the extra to pour down the foundation for some future projects. And that'll save us some time, because I plan on doing a lot of these. Once you're mixing this, you will see a lot of bubbles, but they will come to surface and disappear. They'll break away. So don't worry about that. And sometimes if you do get a bubble in your final piece, you know, it's just character. Just give that finished piece and, you know, its own little look, its own character. So don't get all bent out of shape if, you know, you end up with a couple of bubbles. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just pour down my foundation. Some people like to just go ahead and mix whatever embeds they're going to do in the first pour, but I've done it before and I didn't like that look. It's kind of bumpy. It's not a smooth, you know, finish. So what I'm going to do now is use this cup. Have some sprinkles. I save these little containers when I get glitter from Michael, so save them and I use them for stuff like this. So I'm going to pour some of the sprinkles in this cup. Okay. And then what I like to do is mix in a little bit of the, a little bit of the resin with the sprinkles. Put that over there. Mix it up. actually, go ahead. This is the mold that I already have some resin in. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit inside. Oops. Okay guys, I'm back. I ran out of memory, so I had to pick up from where I left off. So I went ahead and poured the sprinkles because, you know, after a while the resin will dry. So what I did was, you know, just put some here and use my popsicle stick and kind of shaped it. Can you see it? To where it's like, to where it looks like it's settling at the bottom. And I did the same thing for this one here. Let's see. Here. And I just poured some here. Give you an idea what that looks like from the other side. Okay. So don't fret because I still have to pour the oval molds that I started yesterday. So the foundation has dried. And now, so what I'm going to do now is take a lot of the sprinkles that I have here. This is just a mixture of different sprinkles. And I'm going to go ahead and pour these in a cup like I did the other ones. Okay. Pour my resin. Okay. Here's my catalyst. Use about 30 drops this time because I poured a little bit more resin than I wanted to use, but I'll make do with it. Mix for about a minute. Ooh, and remember what I said about the odor and making sure that you have proper ventilation, fresh air blowing when you're using this resin. You don't want to end up with any respiratory problems. So yeah, make sure you use plenty of fresh air. Okay, still mixing. Can you see the bubbles? Like I said, the bubbles will rise and break away. Pop, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Oops. Okay. I think that's mixed enough. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and fill the rest of this fill this all the way up. And this one. And a little bit on this one. Okay. And then I pour the resin inside with the sprinkles. Let's see, I'll pour this for my next project, which will be a steampunk ring and maybe a couple of hearts. Yeah, we'll do some hearts for Valentine's Day. So I'm just pouring down the foundation for those. And I have a heart over here on another mold that I have. Okay. So now I'm just going to take the resin and, excuse me, mix it with the sprinkles and just lay them in my mold. Smooth this up so you can see here. Try and get as much out as you can. Sometimes you put a little bit too much on one side. You can always take away and add to the other side, or just take away and put it somewhere else if you're not doing two of the same thing. Okay. Okay, so I'm back. I kept getting interrupted, so I'm gonna go ahead and get on to the sanding part. Okay, so now I'm just popping out my cast pieces from my molds. As you can see now, it's already dry and it's ready. Looking at the edges, you can see it's kind of rough, so what I'm gonna do is use my emery board. Oops. So you can use sandpaper, and some people use diamond files, but I like to use emery boards. It's really easy for me to handle and control. So now I'm just showing you how to sand around the edges, along the sides, you know. And right here you can see it's a little wear and tear because after I sand it down, I like to wet sand it, and I'll just hold the piece underwater and just sand it until it's smooth. Okay, so this is the round piece, popping it out so you can see what that looks like. And again, it's been 24 hours, and it's had 24 hours to cure, so it's completely dry. And that's one of the other pieces that I've done. Kind of cloudy around the middle. I don't know why that happened, but on to the other pieces. These are the two oval pieces. Just popping them out too. You see the little extra piece right here around the end, and just pop it off. And sometimes I use scissors, you know, if it's a little thicker, just to cut it off before I sand with my emery boards. Okay, can you see the stars and the different kind of different sprinkles that I used? Okay, on to the other piece. Same thing here. Almost dropped it. I was butterfingers that day. Yeah, no two pieces will be exactly alike, and that's the fun of it all. You never know exactly what you're going to get. So, I'll make one of these into a ring and the other one into a pendant. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll be back after I sand it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put my findings on. I like to use epoxy glue. It's a two-part epoxy, and what you do is just, you know, put it down on something and mix it together. I always use my popsicle sticks. And just mix and mix, mix, mix until it's one color, one uniform color. Okay, still mixing, so now it's ready. And so now I'll just put a little dab in the middle for my ring. And now I'm just putting a silver plated ring base in the middle. I'll let it sit there and let it get a little tacky, and then I'll make sure it's centered properly. Onto another piece if I can pick it up. Okay, get another dab of glue. Put that in the middle for another ring. Then realize that I was out of the view for the camera, so that's another one I'll adjust afterwards after it gets a little tacky. And now I'm reaching for the bells. These are silver plated bells too, and you can get them online at Etsy's or eBay, you know, places like that, relatively cheap. Just put a little piece that, you know, I mean, a little glob of glue at the top and attach my bell there. Again, I'll let it sit for a few minutes and let it get tacky and make sure it's in the proper place. Okay, here I'm doing the same thing, attaching another bell. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do now is just let these dry and I'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, so I'm back and the bells are dry here, so that's one pendant. Second pendant. It's completely dry. Oh, and I didn't have any resin spray, so what I did use, I had some clear nail polish. And, you know, after I sanded them and wet sanded them, I went ahead and just put clear nail polish over them to give them a sheen. Yeah, I globbed it on really thick right there, but yeah, you can see it's ready to go. And this piece here, I'm going to go ahead and make matching earrings for it for later, and I'll let you guys see it. And this one too, so I'll look out for that, and I'll be back soon.